How would you like a step-by-step plan for turning your music hobby into a full-time career? This is exactly what my friend Aurelie, aka PLV Music, did in just 3 short years. And she will be revealing her secrets in this video. In this astonishing interview, you'll learn how PLV Music went from knowing nothing about producing music to building a full-time income from her music in just 3 years.
I really was tired of being stuck in my 9 to 5.
You'll also learn how she utilized YouTube to speed up her results and generate income, and how you can do the same.
I spent every single morning and every single evening before and after work working on this, music production and YouTube channel and all that, weekend included.
You'll learn mind-blowing tips for how you can find clients to whom you can offer your music production, songwriting, mixing, whatever services that you have, and also how to overcome any mental roadblocks you might have that are holding you back, maybe without you even knowing it.
Even if I was feeling bad, my thoughts were not going good, I was stressed out or I was scared, of all the judgment and all this, I was still here editing my next video or still here filming a video or make music, right? Like everything is hard, choose your heart,
And you'll even learn how to actually get your music signed to record labels so you can really start building your music career in earnest.
They do the marketing and promotion of the song. They reach out to all the playlists. They have a bigger network than I do. Put my music in front of a new audience. Yeah, it's just it's saving me time.
And a whole lot more is included in this interview, so be sure to watch the whole thing. And I also have a free gift I want to give you in this video as well, so be sure to watch all the way to the end so you learn how you can get this great free gift. Well, it's so great to have you here. It's really great talking to you again. I really got a lot of value when I did the coaching call with you. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, thank you.
But real quick, for everyone that's watching and listening, just can you give a quick win for producers? What's some little thing they can implement today to improve their productions or improve their productivity? I think you're a little bit of a productivity guru. So just what's a quick win you can give people here right off the bat?
I don't like the word guru.
All right.
I'm just sharing what I do. For a quick win, I think the main thing from, all the students that I had previously that told me that did a big change for them is when I tell them to not just watch tutorials like Netflix. So, and instead going into it as a learning time. So on one screen, you open your tutorial, on the other, you open your DAW and you follow what people do in your DAW while you're watching the tutorial. You can pause the video, do the thing, then continue the video and do the thing. It's just, because if you just watch it, it'll be oh, cool, I feel like I learned. But not really, especially, if you're watching something about how to make this sound preset or whatever. If you don't actually do it, you won't really internalize the concept. So yeah, I think that's a big quick win trick that you can do.
Yeah, that's a great tip, because that has happened to me so many times in the past where I feel like I'm being productive watching these tutorials, but if you don't actually implement it, you're not really going to learn it, and you're going to forget what you watched. So that's really good. If we could get into your story then for a little bit, that is really fascinating to me. So in just 2 years, you went from 3 years. Okay.
3
years. Okay. From 3 years, you went from knowing nothing, right? Nothing about music production to actually building a full-time income from music. So how did you do that?
Being obsessed with it was definitely one. I guess, I really was tired of being stuck in my 9 to 5. I liked what I was doing, but the idea of staying there at 9 to 5 just annoyed me. And I don't know, I was less afraid of judgment and all as I grew up. And I had this deep desire of doing my own music, having my songs on Spotify and all that stuff. I wanted to do something meaningful, so where I can have an impact on people's lives. And I think this is because I had that why of why am I doing this, that I went completely all in. When people ask me, the truth is that for the first 2 years, I spent every single morning and every single evening before and after work working on this, music production and YouTube channel and all that, weekend included. So I just went fully all in really. And I think it was just, hard dedication, and a lot of hard work and a big passion for it.
That's really awesome. And Yeah, this the speed at which you achieved it was really impressive. 2 years, 3 years, whatever. But that's still really a short period of
I
time.
mean, I think that's because I'm impatient. Like I'm very stubborn as well as a person. So I think in a way it really helped to really, yeah, to push me to go as fast as I could. Just because, yeah, I was like, I need to get this to work.
Right.
So yeah, I
And
think
that's
it was also a lot of like learning because like I think that's what some people that I talk with told me. It's like I intentionally put some learning time into my calendar for other stuff, not just music as well, like for business, for marketing, for whatever, like content creation, right? So I'm
ooh.
always trying to learn because I knew it was not just going to be about music. So I was really trying to learn about everything so that I can make it a full time online job. And yeah, I think that's one thing that I've seen like other people might not do. Um, yeah.
Yeah, let's dive deeper on that. You mentioned, right, you're very strategic, you had a plan, right? There's probably other people out there watching right now. Well, yeah, I'm obsessed too. I'm crazy too, but I don't know how to get there, right?
Hmm.
Right? We can't really make money selling music, or that's the myth, or at least that's the
Hmm.
belief.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
myth.
it's a myth and a belief, yeah. And then you like, social media is such a pain. It's too saturated. How do you
It
stand out? How
is.
do you actually go about
Yeah.
making a living with music? And what was the kind of the plan that you followed?
Yeah. I mean, I think first of all, as well, like everything is going to be hard in life. And I think I was reading this in a book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a, you know, just for not, for the YouTube video. But, and he was saying, yeah, like everything is hard, like choose your heart. And that's what I was saying is like, even when I have hard days doing this, I still love it. I still would not exchange it. Right. So everything's going to be hard, but you got to be enjoying the journey as well to go through those hards. And so I enjoy all that extra stuff, all that social media content and all that business stuff. I actually love it. Sure, sometimes it's hard, but I do love it. And yeah, as I was saying, when I'm obsessed with it, is that I put like a lot of time. Because I know sometimes when people hear like, "Oh, she's only been doing this for 2 or 3 years," and it's like they're gonna judge me on that, but it's it depends how many hours you put every single day during the year, because if someone has spent, like they say like, oh yeah, I've been doing music for a year, but it was just doing like, an hour or two here and there every week, maybe not all the weeks because sometimes they were going out or whatever. I went full on like 1 to 2 hours every
Right.
single day for the first year. So like that's also the difference. It's like at the end of the year I had hours and hours, of practice. But yeah, otherwise just a huge um, like mindset of always trying to learn by doing and to adapt. So I see a lot of people always kind of being like, oh, I need to wait for this studio gear, then I'll be able to start making my videos. No. If you watch my first videos, they were so bad. Quality wise, it was horrible. There was no studio, no nothing. But I wouldn't be here today if I didn't make those first videos. So it's just I I started with whatever I had. Knowledge was zero when I started because it was on day one of when I started, and I just kind of went for it and kind of like always with a mindset of like adapting as you go. So it's like I was seeing what was working, what was not, what I was liking to do, what I didn't. And I was just kind of like making my way through that. Because I know, for example, when it comes to monetizing my music, I tried many different things. Like I did try some mixing and mastering services or ghost production services. I didn't like it. There's many different ways that you can do it. You just have to find the one that works for you. And so I did try other ways, but I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't for me, having like a client. It kind of broke the creativity for me that I wanted to escape from escaping my 9 to 5 job. So I didn't want to have another client telling me like,
Right.
"Hey, no, do this on this song." I'm like, "No, I don't like that." So yeah, just it's great for some people if you like it. It didn't work for me. So it was just trying a bunch of different things and kind of like adapting. Really, it's just always that mindset of do something, learn from it, adapt, basically, and just repeat every single day, week, month, year.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And so you kind of had a kind of a two-pronged approach from, I guess, from what I've observed is that you have your actual music career, your actual artist career, right? Which is kind of what we traditionally think of as how you make an income, but even that's, changing with the
Yeah.
internet and social media and everything. But you also immediately kind of started teaching on YouTube, and
Right.
some people might not think that's as legitimate, but I think you said that in one of your emails, but like that's just as legitimate way to make an income. And
Yeah.
would you say that definitely helped you achieve your goals faster by having your YouTube channel?
Yeah, definitely. Because, well, first of all, having the YouTube channel is, I think, why I learned like fast, we'll say, because it was like putting the pressure of like, building in public. So I needed to keep learning and to keep getting better if I wanted to have videos to make, right? So that definitely pushed me to do more, to learn more, and all that, practice more. But also, I think I don't remember the theory word of it, but there's something that says that if you can't explain a concept to someone, that means you don't know enough that subject, like that topic. And
Yeah, I think that was
so by
Einstein who
actually,
said that. Yeah, if you can't
yeah, I don't remember
easily,
exactly.
yeah, if you can't easily explain it, then you don't really understand it, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think by just kind of like trying to teach, or just sharing, not more teaching but like more sharing what I was learning myself, to just help other people that were just like one step behind me, it really helped me to understand the concepts even more and faster. And so I think having the YouTube channel actually helped me for that.
That's really good. Yeah, because they've done studies on how humans learn the best, and
Yeah.
actually, like sitting in a classroom, a lecture is the worst way to learn. But that's
Yeah.
how all our school
Oh yeah.
systems are set up. But that's a
Yeah.
separate topic. And you think
Yeah.
maybe maybe doing's the best way to learn, right? Like we talked about
Oh yeah.
earlier. Like don't just watch, but actually do. But that's actually one step higher than that, and that's teaching. That's actually the ultimate way to learn. So you do it, and then you teach it to someone, or just share what you're doing. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
exactly right. That's really good. With what was kind of your plan when you sat down to like, hey, I'm gonna earn a full-time
Right.
income? Did you kind of like would you map out like, or what are your different like income streams, if you don't mind
Yeah,
sharing?
yeah, no, actually, all good. I actually remember, so, I'm always using Notion. I'm a big Notion girl. So it was all in Notion, and I had this page called like business, and I just had like monetization ideas, it says, literally monetization ideas. And so, yeah, I had it since the beginning, YouTube AdSense, affiliate links, potentially royalties, sponsors and brand deals. That was something that was in my head since the beginning. That's something I knew I wanted to do, because I like that content creation like side of it. Um, I had vocal services, which it's also something I did try. Didn't last long because I didn't end up liking it. It wasn't where I wanted to spend my time. So then I adapted and I went to digital products, where I just made like ebooks, guides, templates, stuff like that, which I sell on the online store, all related to music and how to learn music on your own at home and all that stuff. Like everything that was like related to my content, and what I knew people needed help with. um yeah, and then potentially like online course as well, kind of like always was on my head, like in the back of my head. um but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so here,
um
yeah, so this is one of
yeah,
your products that you're talking about here. So
yeah,
this is your,
exactly. Yeah, 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 that's the first one I made, actually. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, if you're wanting to
um
learn a plan to learn music production fast, here's a
yeah.
12-month plan right here.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I did have a list of what I wanted to do to monetize. As I said, tried some, thought that I was gonna like them, and then didn't like those services. Never really ended up liking them, so then I just adapted and stayed on the lane that I was liking, right? Um, so yeah, and then the one important thing is that at the beginning I was kind of trying to like kind of like do it all at the same time, like some vocal services here and a Patreon here and some deals there and some YouTube AdSense there, but like and digital products, and like I was too spread out. And so I was just making no progress with any of them. And so it's not until I focused on one at a time that I was able to actually build something really good. So like the first year I focused on digital products. Once I was done with that, I focused on like sponsors and brand deals. Then, well, before that, I focused on the YouTube to get it monetized. And Then after that, oh yeah, the coaching sessions. And then right now, once I'll be done with, because like I did release the last digital products and I wanted to have some more things set up in the background. So I'm trying to hold myself and finish this first. And once I'm done in like probably a month, then I will start on the online course, which probably is going to be the last monetization avenue that I do.
All right, we'll get back to the interview in just a second, but I don't know about you, but I'm super impressed by just how fast Aurelie was able to not only teach herself music production, but build a full-time income. And like she mentioned earlier, she did this by being obsessed with music, learning and practicing in every spare moment that she had, being very scheduled, being very disciplined with her time, and also investing in herself and her education by doing things like buying courses. So if you're looking to invest in a step-by-step course, a comprehensive system that will teach you everything you need to know about music production, including how to set up your home studio, how to record from home, how to mix your own songs, how to write amazing songs, then be sure to check out my course, Radio Ready Record. This is a system that walks you through how to set up your home studio, how to record pro vocals from home, how to write hit quality songs, and even how to mix your own music so that it sounds like it's radio worthy, all while using free or stock plugins and the gear you already have. This course can help you learn everything you need to know about how to produce radio quality music from home in just 3 to 6 months. So if you want to learn more, then go to orpheusaudioacademy.com/RRR, that's triple R, or just click the link in the description below. All right, back to the interview. If you're watching this, you might be thinking, wow, I never thought of coaching or creating digital products. So what would you recommend someone who's just getting started, right? Because maybe right when was getting started, like all you knew kind of was like royalties, or maybe someone buys a CD or something. So if someone wants the shortest path or the fastest path to income to building a, say they wanted to follow your path and build a full-time music career in 3 years, what would you recommend they start with?
I think the fastest way when you're just starting, you don't really have an audience and all, it's services. So, music production, like beat making, ghost production services, mixing and mastering services, being hired for scoring a film or a TV show, something like this. Or even coaching sessions and mentorship programs. Like I know there's like a guy on Instagram that has like 3,000 followers, nothing crazy. And he has a full on like a few month like mentorship program, like that goes over 12 weeks or whatever, for artists to learn more about like songwriting and storytelling into like the songs. And he sells this at like, a couple $1,000s because he's with the person over a few months and he's making way more than a full-time income. So like that's insane, right? And he keeps doing his music, sharing with the other people, because you have to show what you can do to get those those people to sign up for your program. So yeah, he's having the time of his life. Obviously I know that teaching is not for everyone, but if that's something that you actually like doing, then there's a big possibilities there for you.
Yeah, that's really great. How would you go about, like, what's your best advice for going about finding those clients? If you're, again, just starting from scratch, how do you actually find those clients to do work for? Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's social media content. Like for me, I see social media content as free advertising, and over the whole world. Like because now you don't have to stay local. Like you can like your potential customers base is like the whole world, right? So yeah, just make like to go very simple. It's like think about who your target audience is. So like who would buy your coaching program or your services, who would be interested. Like for example, if you're a music producer trying to get production services, don't make content for music producers because they don't need your services, right? Make content probably for rappers and singers that don't know how to make production, like how to make songs. And so think about who they are, and then think about what type of content would they like to see, would they need to see, and just do that. And then announce that you have that as an offer, put it in your link in bio or in your bio, click below for production services or whatever you do. And that's pretty much it. Like that's yeah.
So yeah, so you just create content on Instagram or like YouTube, like we talked about, that is going to attract those
Yeah.
people to you. Then you just make the offer to them. Okay.
Yeah, I would actually also recommend more like Instagram, because Instagram is easier in the beginning and faster to find an audience and reach more people than YouTube. YouTube is more of a long time
Right.
journey.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely a long, more of
Yeah.
a long term uh,
Yeah.
benefit there. You're investing in the long term there. So, what were some of the like? Did you run into any like mental roadblocks when you were starting out? Because I know like a lot of creators might struggle with imposter syndrome, feeling like, who am I to
Oof.
start sharing this or to start offering
Every
services?
single day.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Same to this day. So yeah, how did you, because I think that's so great that you started right away. That's something I wish I had done. Just sharing what you were learning right from the start instead of waiting. And I think that really has benefited you. So yeah, how
Yeah.
did you overcome all those roadblocks, those mental roadblocks?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the imposter syndrome is probably the biggest one. But it's funny because it's one that I did feel the most, but I never let it affect me. Like that's something that I've done very well for the last 3 years. Is like, even if I was feeling bad, like, my thoughts were not going good, I was stressed out or I was scared, of all the judgment and all this, I was still here editing my next video or still here filming a video or make music, right? So I think that's one thing, is like really being able to separate your thoughts from your action. And I think what helped me a lot is that I was planning my days like every single night before the next day. And so I had like a calendar time blocked, as I knew exactly what I was going to do before work and after work, right? So I think that allowed me to every day, even if that day when I woke up I didn't feel like it, or I was like, I'm not really feeling good. What are people going to say? All this. I didn't really care, because it was like checking my calendar. Okay, I'm supposed to do this right now. All right, let's do it. Like that's all. Um, and I think I was also understanding a lot that I was just making, like I wasn't saying like, hey, you have to do that or anything. It's just like, hey, this is my journey. This is what I've done. This is what I've seen work for me, and it's just like, you take it or you don't. It's not, I'm not here saying like you have to do that or, something like this. So I think changing that perspective, and also knowing that I was like, I'm not making content for every music producer out there. People that have more experience than me, that are further than me, that's definitely not for them. I'm only making content for the people that are at least a step behind me. And as long as you understand that, that'll help you, because people online in the comments and all will always think that the content you make is for them, even if they don't fit, the person that you're actually making content for. So those you just like ignore,
Hmm.
and just continue do your thing, because the thing is, know why, once again, know why you're doing it, what's your goal, and just stick to that. Like, really try to like shield yourself from those other things.
That's really good. So basically, you had a system and a structure in place, a
Yeah.
routine in your life that kind of pulled you forward regardless of how you felt.
Yeah,
So,
really knowing ahead my calendar was like the main reason, because some days, yeah, as I said, if I was waking up and be like, oh, today I feel so bad, like I don't feel like doing it, and this video, what are they gonna say? Maybe it's too, who am I to talk about this subject, right?
mhm.
But then I was like, nope, I'm supposed to editing right now, so let's go.
That's really great. So, what were some of those other structures or routines or resources that you use to stay organized, to stay on task, to make sure you kept pursuing your goals and didn't let outside distractions, circumstances, feelings get in the way?
The structure, that's interesting. I've never really thought about it. I think I had a couple things. First of all, Notion really helped me. Like, Notion is the life for me. Like, it just allowed me to take, because, at some point when you start doing all this, you have so much in your brain, you have so much to remember, it just gets messy. So to just have structures and systems and, processes that just works for you and do half of the work for you is really helpful for your like peace of mind. So that helped me a lot. And I think I will as well. Like, I have to say, I think the support of my family, like they've always be supportive. Like my boyfriend's the one that pushed me to start, even when I was giving him the same excuses that everyone is saying, like, maybe let's wait for us to have an apartment and have my studio before I can do videos. He's like, no, do it now. Just here's the camera, do it. I was like, okay. And then, yeah, my parents also always were like super supportive, my grandparents as well. So
That's
that
really
like
great.
helped a lot. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think, and the thing is, I know it's gonna it's gonna suck because people are gonna be like, "Oh, really?" But I think it was just really a load, if I can say, of dedication and yeah, just discipline. Really, like discipline. And I think as well. Actually, maybe there's one more thing. One thing that helped a lot is like I didn't start when I was 18. Like I started, I was 25, so like I already had some experience and some stuff that I tried that failed, right? Like it wasn't the first thing I tried, so I read a bunch of like self development and content creation and business online books, right? So I already had prepared myself mentally for what was coming ahead, like the grind and the hours, the mean comments and all that stuff. Like I was ready for it, like I knew what I was getting into, so I think that helped a lot. And that was like years before I actually started this.
Okay. So yeah, so what I'm hearing you say is you really treated it like a business kind of right from
Day
the
one.
start.
Day
And
one,
right, you
yes.
mentioned marketing earlier. I mean, those two words, they can be kind of like swear words for some
I know.
music
Yeah,
artists. Those are kind
I
of like
know.
dirty words. So how should we as music artists frame those terms or think of that? Because I definitely agree. Really, if you want to be a full time musician, you can't just like go off in the
Yep.
woods and you write songs and then you're just going to release them and everyone's going to listen to them. You really got to treat it
Yeah.
as a business. So
Mhm.
how can we wrap our minds around that concept?
I mean, I think the best thing that I heard that helped me feel better about marketing myself and like promoting stuff is that if you have a good product, be it, whatever you want to sell, your service or just your music, um, if it's a good product that you believe in and that you think is going to be helpful for the person in front, then tell them. Like, because if you don't, you do them a disservice for not telling them that it even exists for them, right? So like I was always trying to like change that mindset and be like, no, I believe in my product, I know it's good, I know it's going to help that person, so I'm going to go for it because they deserve to know that it's there for them because it could really help them. So yeah, that's what I was always trying to think about when I was thinking like marketing and promotion. um, because it is uncomfortable at the beginning, but the more you do it, the easier the easier it gets. And plus, honestly, it's fun because like if you don't, then all your hard work of making the music for hours is kind of going to be useless if no one listens to it. So it just makes the effort worth it to see all the people actually enjoying your song and having fun listening to it, or even enjoying what you did as a service to them. Like it's very rewarding, but it doesn't happen if you don't have that last piece of the puzzle, which is marketing and promotion.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, so it really just comes down to really believing in your product because
Yeah.
yeah, if it's you're just marketing is really just solving problems for someone or offering them opportunities if done the right
Yeah.
way. So
Yeah, like for
it's
example,
definitely yeah.
there's if we go back to like the music side, to like go away a little bit from like the teaching and the content, like there's this YouTube channel called Ambient Cinematics, which is from a producer called Tommy Lucas or something like this. And he's making a lot of like, well, ambient cinematics, chill, dreamy, music that he releases on Spotify. But he also has grown his channel through a like packaging of like superheroes and AI art and all like that. And in the titles, it's stuff like music for when you need a break from the world, or
Mm,
music that'll help you relax or anything. And like that is why I clicked on those videos and that I actually got to learn his music. And now I listen to it 24/7 because when I saw his video and the title of the songs, that's what I needed at the time. And if he wouldn't have done that and learned how, the marketing and promotion works on YouTube through thumbnail and titles, he wouldn't have had me to click on it. And thank God he did, because while I was on a burnout, it really helped me. His music and his videos helped me a lot. So once again, that's because he actually took the time to package his music and his art very well, that it actually told me how it was going to help me, that I did click on it and started listening to his music. So like this is like the best example that I have, I think.
That's really great. So yeah, it shows. Yeah, so that shows right there. Marketing
Yeah.
allowed, it allowed, improved your life. It made and the lives of other people listening to his music. And right on the
Yep.
flip side of that, that's also maybe something that you haven't thought about, speaking to the audience as a music artist, right? Because when I was getting
Yeah.
started, I would upload my music to YouTube, and it's like, oh, title of the song by my band name, but no one knows
Doesn't work.
that. No one
Yep.
knows the band. No one knows the song. So you gotta
Yep.
almost like approach it like a YouTuber when you're on YouTube, uploading your own music and title it in such a way that it's going
Yeah.
to show up in search. So that's really good. And yeah, you mentioned being really organized earlier too. Like I really highly recommend this
Oh yeah.
Aureli's producer dashboard to anyone. I got this myself. I've been going through it, and it just I was like, wow, so this is how structured and how organized I was supposed to be. It was
Yeah.
like beyond what I had thought I was organized until I checked out this Notion dashboards. And Notion is a really
Yeah.
great tool as well if you're not already using that. And so you can get this on her website, musicbyplv.com.
Oh wow.
So,
Fancy.
uh, yeah, well, thank you. So, um, yeah, I definitely can't recommend that enough because that's what I've been really using. I'm like, wow, this is really great. It really allows you to structure everything and have a process, a system in place for finishing your music, for growing your music business, and it's really been helpful for me and a lot of other producers. So that's something that I thought was really great that you offered on your website.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great feedback. Yeah.
Well, real quick before I get to my next question, there's something I've thought about because maybe I'm feeling this way myself a little bit.
Okay.
But if someone else, maybe someone watching has been, maybe they've been working on music for 10 years and they're still not earning a full-time income.
Right.
Your story is super inspiring to see, how fast you're able to grow and everything. But what would you say to someone that maybe has been doing it for longer and they hear your story and maybe they're feeling a little discouraged, right?
Hmm.
Maybe you've come across that you think you're doing great and then you compare, you see some other artists, how they blew
Oh
up super
yeah.
fast and, faster than you or got better results than you. So how do you kind of handle that kind of comparison? Because you want to be able to take the example of other people and use that to grow, right? Because people will say, well,
Yep.
comparison is a thief of joy. And that's
That's
true
what I was gonna say.
to some
Yeah.
extent, but you
Yeah.
also want to learn from others and imitate others so that you can get the same results. So how do you kind of balance that?
Yeah, I think it's all in the head. Unfortunately, that's a lot of work mentally to do, because it's hard these days not to compare yourself. It happens to me as well. Like as I was saying, a few months ago, I did end up in a burnout a little bit. I am getting out of it right now, and because I've been not doing so much lately, and that I've been consuming a little bit more and seeing all those other creators and producers being like, oh, this is like the new way to do it on YouTube. And like, if you don't do this, you're going to be left behind. And oh, you got to hop on this genre of music and all. And it's like, oh God, like I
Yes.
really need to get back to it. I'm going downwards right now. It doesn't go well. So like you start to compare yourself and be like, oh, I'm not doing enough. Like, yeah. And it's just really a big like mental works to be aware of that, and just kind of like telling yourself, no, stop, like don't even, I think, take a step off social media when that happens to you, because that's only the reason why, and try to like recenter on you and what your journey is. And that's what I've been doing right now, because I'm currently in that where I feel like I've been comparing myself, and it's not good. So I'm trying to step away a little bit as a consumer from social media, and just trying to focus on like the creation of what I want to do, music and videos wise, and just kind of trying to like reconnect with your internal passion, which is music and videos for me. And so I'm just trying to find like the happiness in that, like I'm trying to like enjoy the process itself, and it is really a lot of work mentally. But yeah, stepping away from social media when you start feeling this way is probably the best way. Yeah, you do want to learn from other people. And for example, today, before the podcast, when I woke up, I just watched a video on like that one content creator that I'm like, wow, her videos are amazing. She's been, awesome. That's kind of like the videos that I've always wanted to do, but never did. So I watched a video on how she makes her videos, right? To learn about that instead of watching more of her videos and watching more of how little videos she has with so many subscribers,
Hmm.
right? I'm trying to focus more on what I can learn from that person rather than looking at all those stats that are just gonna mess up with my head. um, it is definitely tough.
So in the moment, then when you're feeling discouraged, would you say the best thing to do is to just take action instead? Just, well, what can I do right now to make progress?
Yeah, I think that's, well, first I think there's two steps. Like, first, take a step back, like go out in the nature, go for a walk, clear your head, take some time away from being on social media in a couple days, and then take action and
Okay.
try to reconnect with your passion, like for you. And also, one thing I'd say as well is try to look at your wins, like whatever small they are. Because, for example, just I think it just happened this week where one other content, like I've been hired by a brand to make videos for them, like for their website, their ads, their stuff like that, like a music production brand. And so they gave me a reference of another content creator they were working with. And I was like, oh my God, this is such good content. Like, how am I going to do something like as good? Right. And I was like, oh God, I was comparing myself. I still went ahead and do something because that's the best way to get over it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to give my best and do something. I sent it, and then the guy, the actual content creator, saw the video, and yesterday messaged me. He's like, "Dude, I just saw the first video you did for that brand. This is insanely good. That quality." And in my head, I was like, "Really?" So like that shows again how comparing yourself is just not good. Like, just focus on what you do, focus on making something better compared to like the last thing that you did. And I think that's one thing that I've done a lot as well. It's like a lot of people hold their songs until they do the best one or they do better than that person or whatever. I've never seen it this way. I've released every single one of my songs as long as they were 1% better than the one I did before. I was good. That's all I
Okay.
cared about.
Would you say there's also something to be said for kind of like kind of the lo-fi like aesthetic? Is there more people being drawn to kind of just people who are appearing more authentic and natural and not kind of doing the over edit that you see like on YouTube, or even with like music production, people are being more drawn to, I guess it depends on the genre too, but
Yeah.
music that seems more real and authentic and not so over
I
edited?
think right now that's where the whole world is going because people are tired of like this fake, too fast paced and all this. So like, and that's one thing that I'm doing myself right now with the last couple of videos that I've made. It was way longer videos, less edited, more self paced, like slow paced, and more like kind of like hop with me on the journey. So weird. Oh, my English. Hop with me on the journey. So yeah, it's just it seems like where it goes, and like I know that's the part that really helped me stand out compared to other people, like other music producer
Hmm.
YouTubers or whatever. It's like everyone that like came to me and told me why they were liking my stuff, every single time it was thank you for being so authentic and transparent and so, just you, like be yourself kind of thing, and not trying to like put on a face or whatever, and like sharing the struggles as much as the wins. I've been sharing everything that I went through. Like, at first I was like, oh, should I say I'm in a burnout? Well, I did. Because I wanted to keep that authentic side, right? And actually someone told me, oh, that's the day you told that you were on a burnout that I actually took a coaching session with you. I was like,
Hmm.
really? See? So like, yeah, people really want like authentic stuff. And if you look at like, people like Forrest Frank or Jake, like those are the people that put the most, honest storytelling in their lyrics and all that, and in their music that are really breaking these days and being successful. Or that other guy as well, more into like EDM. Oh, I forgot his name with an F as well.
I'm not as into EDM, so I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, because he was sharing his journey, and yeah, it's definitely a trend at the moment.
Yeah, I think that definitely applies to the music itself too, right? People are kind of a little bit tired of the over polished production. So I would say, yeah, definitely don't worry about your actual, mixing production being like top notch. I think what's more important is just the
Yeah,
songwriting, the actual song
yeah. Like
content itself.
if you could like package your music, and present it as how it's going to help the person and what it talks about, the message it has, the values, all this, like this is how you're going to connect with people. And yeah.
Awesome. And then real quick, AI is kind of everywhere now. So,
Ooh, that's my next video.
okay. So yeah, how are you using AI in your daily life when it comes to either your music or your education side of things?
I don't use it daily. AI is something that doesn't interest me too much at the moment. I do use it when I have to, and that's what's going to be the video about. Really, like to show the problem that I had and how AI actually saved me there. But
Hmm.
otherwise, yeah, AI. I see, because like I see both points. I see how beneficial it can be for automating some task. Like I know it can help me with English, right? Because English is not my first language, so to make titles or script intros, it can help me for sure, to make sure that I don't have any mistakes in the copy that I write, stuff like that. I can see how beneficial it is, right? But in terms of like the creative side, I don't like using AI for the creative side just myself, because I don't enjoy I enjoy the process of making music. I don't want to have to use AI. Um, Now I did have to use it for one particular thing in the music, but I don't want to spoil the video, so
Okay.
I'm gonna hold for now. But
I'll
it
make
is
sure to link it.
because yeah.
I'll put it in the
um,
description.
but but yeah, so I do see the benefits in a way, but like I mean, what's the point of listening to a song that is fully made by AI? First of all, right now, AI can't really invent anything new. They can
Right.
only grab from everything that has been done. So, in terms of like originality and creativity, I don't think it's there yet. But seeing how fast they go, I'm pretty sure it'll get there. It's just that I'd rather hear from a real human's experience and life rather than an AI. So yeah, this is just like my personal view on it. Like nothing is like right or wrong. Like people can
Hmm.
think whatever they want. Like I don't have like strong opinions or anything, but for me, I don't want to use it for the creative side so much. I would use it for like as I said, like the technical,
Right.
automating boring tasks and like checking my English, stuff like that. Um, Improving a title because I'm not that good in English, or stuff like that. But um, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like Isotope because they have some plugins with kind of AI built into them that can kind of get you like 80% of the way there of where you want to be, like with the settings, whether it be like EQ or compression or something. So it's kind of like speeds
Right.
up the workflow, but you wouldn't want to, yeah, just kind of like completely
I
rely
mean,
on
that's
that. Or
fine. Like to me, that's fine because it's more like the technical stuff.
right, versus
Uh,
yeah, I wouldn't want to have AI write the song for me. That's
yeah,
kind of like
exactly. But like,
yeah.
yeah,
Because I used to when I was learning at a commercial recording studio, we'd have rappers come in all the time, and they like pirated like some track that they didn't even really have the rights to, and then they just like rap over top of the song. I'm like, but I mean, number one, you don't have the rights to the song, but even if you did, like, it's not really your song. You're just kind of like,
yeah. Like I wouldn't want to use it to make like a full main melody of my song or something like this, right? Like, I'd rather find it myself at the piano and all. Like that's more enjoying. Like that's more why we're doing music. Like I see the use. Like I guess I actually use it for like the mastering, because I do use isotope like elements, so it does help like with the limiter to kind of like see, like to give me a starting point, and then I
mhm.
kind of like go in and change a few things. But like there's nothing creative in that. Like that's fine. Like for me, as I said again, for me, yeah,
Right, that makes total sense. And so someone watched this video, hopefully they're inspired and they're like, okay, I wanna
yeah.
I wanna earn a full-time income from my music in the next, 3 years. For the next 3 years. What's Like the number one thing you would recommend they do to start?
I guess the first thing that I would do is make a list of like the monetization avenues that you would feel interested in, like I did, you know. I had maybe like 5, 7 different ideas that I was like, those avenues, like those income streams could interest me, you know, and then pick one and try that one. Like set up that one. If you like it, go full on like setting it up until you make at least $1,000 from it every month, like on a kind of like on autopilot. And then once you're done, like go to the next one, which is over a month. If you realize in 2 weeks that you don't like it, then go to the next one, like try the next one, right? So that's the thing that I would say to do first, because it is going to take time to find. It took me like a good year of trying a few things and seeing like, nah, that's not for me. That is for me. That one, not for me too, but that one is for me, right? And then you just build there.
So is there like one particular income stream that you would recommend? I mean, I guess you kind of covered that earlier, is probably getting
It depends.
offering
I mean,
services.
yeah, and it depends for everyone because I know I had another coaching session last week where um, the guy wasn't so much interested in the services. He was more interested in the YouTube side of it and like sharing his music. And so that's where I showed him the idea of like the example of ambient cinematics YouTube channel and how
Hmm.
the guy is making playlists of like 2 hours with his songs and just
I need to do
packaging
that.
them in a good way. That's actually a secret project I'm going to start.
All right, I'm gonna look that up.
But
Ambient
the thing is,
cinematics.
this trajectory is just like way longer time because you have no clue if it's going to work or not, if it's going to take on YouTube or not. You're going to have so much more to learn about YouTube. Um, but if you want it to be centered around your music right now, it's a great idea because I'm someone that like listen to those things every single day on repeat all day long. Those are the greatest videos, to put like on a replay on the background. So yeah, it's a great way like to package your music, but it's just there's no really benefit. There's not really, how do you say, you're not sure it's gonna work.
Hmm.
Um, so whereas services, it's a bit easier to get or stuff like that, right? But yeah, as I said, it depends on people and what you want.
But the good news is you definitely can earn a full time from music.
Yeah,
It's not the doom and
I
gloom that
mean,
you've heard.
yeah, and I mean, I have another friend who's in India, and he's a lo-fi artist. He just makes lo-fi. He released like 1 to 2 songs a week,
Hmm.
and he makes full-time income from royalties just from Spotify.
Wow.
But that's because he knows that this is his stuff. Like that's what works for him. He loves making lo-fi, lo-fi, lo-fi every single day kind of thing, and he outputs gets so many playlists, gets on bigger labels and bigger labels as he goes in, and so he got to the point over years that he's getting enough in royalties, and he just keeps doing that. So like that's also another way that you could do if that's what you want, but you have to go full in on that one avenue and not care about the rest.
Okay, and that reminds me of one question I actually forgot. I wanted to ask if you
Yeah,
have time. Just you part of your process is you reach out to labels. I think you use a tool called Label Radar. Is that correct?
yeah,
So yeah, what's the advantage of that? I guess what are the pros and cons of that? Because I've heard so many
yeah.
indie artists out there, that larger ones that are successful, like Peter Hollins, for example, who are very anti signing with a label. But this seems a little
Mhm.
different because it's almost like you're signing individual songs. And
Yeah.
so, what do you lose with that? Like, what rights do you lose, and then what do you gain with that?
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's there's no right or wrong answer. It's just what you prefer. For me, the pros and cons, like right now, the pros are that they do the marketing and promotion of the song. They reach out to all the playlists. They do the artwork. They have a bigger network than I do, and it allows me to put my music in front of like a new audience that doesn't necessarily knows me for my content but for just my music. So yeah, it's just like it's saving me time because I don't want to spend my time in that at the moment. But then the cons is that you're definitely going to share the royalties, so depending on how many streams you get, you'll probably never really see any money from that. But I don't want the money from the royalties. I'm doing it another way. So I want the audience and growing the streams and all that. And I want, being able to not really do too much marketing and promotion on that side because right now it doesn't really go with my content. Um, But then, yeah, other cons is like you lose some rights for however long you sign the contract. I would never sign like perpetuity, for example.
Hmm.
But yeah, sometimes you also don't have all the decision making, for example, like for the artwork or for the release date, stuff like this. Like, for example, the one I released in December, I signed it in January. So I had
Hmm.
to wait like a year
Wow.
before releasing it. But that was a label I wanted to get. So, um, and for me as well, the pro as well is like kind of like a quality stamp, because you need to have like your songs need to be good technically and creatively to be signed to a label, at least not the super small ones, like medium and bigger. So like for me, it's kind of like a quality stamp as to, hey, look, like I know what I'm talking about because I've been signed to labels. My songs are making it to labels. Like this is how good I am, kind of thing, right? So like for me, it kind of like gives me this validation as to I do make good music, and so it helps with the imposter syndrome.
Yeah, for sure. So it sounds like maybe that's a really good place to start out if you're a beginner. Start out with that approach, getting on labels, because that
Yeah,
is a way to get exposure, to
yeah,
again get that credibility, that social proof that hey, I've been signed to a
because
label.
the thing is, like, from what I've seen, like the indie artists, every indie artist that I've seen don't need a label. That's because they're so good at content and making
Right,
content around their music.
like Peter
They're
Hollins,
posting, huh?
like Peter Hollins. Are you
Yeah,
familiar with
exactly.
him?
Like,
Yeah,
or like Blanks, for example,
blanks.
or
Yep.
that Forest Frank that I just talked about as well. Like they're so good. Like they're making so many piece of content around their music that they've developed their community, their fan base on their own, and they don't need the labels, right? But for a lot of people that do not want and like to do social media content, this is where label is a good thing, because they can kind of stay, just in their bedroom doing their music, and then the label do the promotion. They're gaining an audience, they're gaining like playlist exposure, and also by doing small labels and then medium labels, and like that's how you get a step in the door of the industry, and then you can get network opportunities and stuff like that. So that's also a way to get a foot into the industry.
Thank you so much to Aurelie and PLV Music for agreeing to do this interview and coming on the channel. Be sure to check out her website and her music. I'll have that linked in the description below. And like I mentioned in the beginning, I have a free gift that I wanted to give you, and that is my free Spotify playlist placement guide, which you can get also in the description below, or go to orpheusaudioacademy.com/Spotify playlists. And this walks you through a step-by-step system on how you can get your music onto Spotify playlists without having to spend money on ads or expensive playlist submission tools, which don't really even work. By the way, if you want to learn how to get unstuck, finish every song you start, and start releasing more music so you can build your fan base faster, then check out my video on the screen right now. This will break down 12 song arrangement hacks to help you get out of the 8-bar loop and finish more music every time so you can start pumping out amazing sounding songs. With that, keep creating, and I'll see you in the next one.